Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was speaking at a public rally in Damoh in Madhya Pradesh, highlighted the significant presence of Iqbal Ansari, who was once a litigant in the Ram Mandir temple dispute case. He was at Ram Mandir at the consecration ceremony in Ayodhya in January. Despite his family's historic involvement in the Babri Masjid case, where 2 generations had fought against the Hindus in court, Iqbal Ansari attended the Ram Mandir consecration ceremony upon having received an invitation from the Ram Mandir Trust. The Prime Minister praised Iqbal Ansari's gesture as a symbol of acceptance, acknowledgement and a push for harmony, especially in light of the Supreme Court's verdict which favoured the construction of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. The Prime Minister contrasted Iqbal Ansari's attendance with the absence of the opposition leaders, which included those from the Congress, from the Samajwadi Party, from the other members of the India Alliance. He criticized the opposition for their reluctance to participate in events that promote unity, communal harmony and a healing touch after legal disputes such as the Ram Mandir dispute. In yet another address, the Prime Minister criticized the Congress and Rahul Gandhi, accusing them of lacking the confidence in winning the elections and resorting to threats. The Prime Minister referred to Rahul Gandhi's warning that the country will be in turmoil after the Lok Sabha election results, portraying it as a sign of desperation. The presence of Iqbal Ansari at the Ram Mandir consecration ceremony was hailed by the Prime Minister as an example of reconciliation and emphasized the importance of moving forward from the divisive politics towards a harmonious and inclusive country. Let's start my conversation. On the telecast with me is the man himself. I have with me Iqbal Ansari, who was the litigant in the Ram Mandir dispute case, who was invited by the Ram Mandir Temple Trust to participate in the consecration ceremony, and he did participate in it. Thank you very much for joining us on the telecast, sir. पहला सवाल आपसे कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि ऑपोजिशन को आपसे सीखना चाहिए, क्योंकि भले ही आप केस लड़ रहे थे राम टेम्पल डिस्प्यूट के अंदर, उसमें प्राण प्रतिष्ठा में आपने पार्ट लिया जब आपको इनविटेशन मिला था. आप इसके बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
देखिए, अयोध्या है, अयोध्या धर्म की नगरी है. अयोध्या में जो भी यहाँ धार्मिक कार्यक्रम होता है तो हम लोग हमेशा जो है एक दूसरे के जो है धर्म के और अच्छे जो भी काम होते हैं, चाहे वो धार्मिक हो चाहे वो खुशियों का हो, तो हम लोग उसमें आया जाया करते हैं. ये हमारी अयोध्या की परंपरा है.
ऑलराइट, मेरा आपसे दूसरा सवाल इकबाल अंसारी जी कि आपने क्या सोच के ये निर्णय लिया? क्या आपने सोचा था कि आप एक भारत के मिसाल होंगे?
देखिए, हमारा धर्म जो है वो हर धर्मों का सम्मान करता है. सवाल रहा अयोध्या में प्राण प्रतिष्ठा की पूजा हुई और भूमि पूजन हुआ. अयोध्या में ऐसे भी मठ मंदिरों में जो भी धार्मिक कार्यक्रम होते हैं, अगर हमारा बुलवा होता है, चाहे वो भंडारा हो, तो हम लोग हमेशा आते जाते रहते हैं. सभी धर्म का सम्मान करते हैं, ये हमारा मजहब सिखाता है. तो हम जो है हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री हमारे वहाँ अयोध्या आए तो हमने उनको जो है फूल वर्षा से स्वागत किया. अयोध्या में जो है मंदिर का प्रोग्राम जो भी रहा, प्राण प्रतिष्ठा की पूजा हो रही थी, उसमें हमारा बुलवा, हम भी उसमें भी गए. भूमि पूजन हुआ, उसमें हम बुलाए गए, उसमें भी गए. क्योंकि जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने फैसला कर दिया, 9 नवंबर को सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने फैसला किया, पूरे देश के मुसलमानों ने सम्मान किया. पूरे देश में कोई पत्ता नहीं हिला. धर्म सवाल यहाँ धर्म का है, हम सभी धर्मों का सम्मान करते हैं. हमको न्योता मिला, हम जो है खुशी खुशी हम गए.
क्या अयोध्या पे जो भी नेगेटिव कवरेज हुई है, नेगेटिव रिस्पॉन्सेज मिले हैं ऑपोजिशन द्वारा, वो क्या अब खत्म हो जाने चाहिए? ये बात को यहीं पे समाप्त कर देना चाहिए, क्योंकि अयोध्या तो इस इतिहास से आगे बढ़ चुका है. क्या आप कहना चाहेंगे इसके बारे में?
देखिए, अयोध्या धर्म की नगरी है। यहाँ सब धर्म के, सब जात के देवी देवता यहाँ विराजमान है। अयोध्या में जो भी संदेश जाता है वो अच्छा ही जाना चाहिए। अयोध्या में अच्छा होता है, इसलिए उनकी हम तारीफ भी करते हैं। अयोध्या में चाहे हिंदू हो चाहे मुसलमान हो, कोई भेदभाव नहीं। सभी देवी देवताओं का यहाँ सम्मान है। अगर जो है कोई पार्टियां देवी देवताओं को टिप्पणी करती हैं तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए। देवी देवता, हर पार्टी के लोग देवी देवताओं का सम्मान करें, अपने धर्म का जो है पालन करें, एक दूसरे का जो है सम्मान करें, क्योंकि जो है अयोध्या ये धर्म की नगरी है। इंसानियत, गंगा जमुनी तहजीब अयोध्या सिखाती है। लोग अयोध्या आवें और एक सीख लें कि अयोध्या में धर्म का सम्मान है, जात का सम्मान है, इंसान का सम्मान है। ये होना चाहिए। जिन लोगों में इंसानियत का सम्मान हो गया वो हमारे अयोध्या से जो है बिल्कुल पार हो जाता है। अयोध्या उसको पसंद करती है। अयोध्या धर्म की नगरी है। अयोध्या में सरयू स्नान करने से तन साफ होते हैं, मंदिरों के दर्शन करने से लोगों के मन साफ होते हैं। जो भी लोग काम करेंगे वो अच्छा ही होगा। तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि हर पार्टी के लोग देवी देवताओं का सम्मान करें, एक दूसरे का आदर करें। जो अच्छा काम हो, अयोध्या आने के बाद में जो भी काम करें ये सोच कर करके जो है अच्छा काम करें कि हम अयोध्या गए थे, साक्षात भगवान को का दर्शन किए हैं, सरजू स्नान करे हैं, हमारा मन भी साफ है, तन भी साफ है। जो भी काम करे वो अच्छा ही करें, तभी अयोध्या लोगों को सूट करती है।
आपको क्या लगता है कि अयोध्या में क्या चेंजेस आए हैं, कैसे चेंजेस आए हैं जब ये 4 महीने बीत चुके हैं, प्राण प्रतिष्ठा हो चुकी है, इसके बाद आपको लगता है कि एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुआ है अयोध्या में?
अयोध्या बहुत बदली है। अयोध्या में रेलवे स्टेशन है, बड़ा हो गया है। एयरपोर्ट नहीं था, एयरपोर्ट बन गया है। सड़कें नहीं थी, सड़कें बन गई हैं। तमाम मठ मंदिर, लोगों के मकान की जो है रंगाई पुताई और रिपेयर, ये सब सरकार ने कराया है। तो जो है अयोध्या में विकास हुआ है। जो है अयोध्या में विकास की कोई नहीं। तमाम कुंडों का उद्धार हुआ है। सड़कों का जो है सड़कें बनाई गई, सड़कें चौड़ी की गई। अयोध्या में विकास की तो गंगा बही है। जो सच्चाई है उसको बताई जाएगी, उसको छुपाई नहीं जाती। क्योंकि अयोध्या में जो कुछ विकास हुआ है, ये इतना विकास तो अयोध्या के लोगों ने कभी सोचा नहीं था। जो विकास अयोध्या में आज हुआ है और लोग उसका फायदा उठा रहे हैं, उसका आनंद ले रहे हैं।
आप उन लोगों के बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे जो बात करते हैं अयोध्या की और हिंदू मुस्लिम डिवीजन की बात करते हैं, कम्युनल डिवीजन की बात करते हैं, कहते हैं कि हिंदू और मुस्लिम साथ में नहीं रह सकते, 2 नेशन थ्योरी की बात करते हैं?
देखिए, अयोध्या की धरती है। अयोध्या की धरती एक ऐसी धरती है, हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई सब धर्म के, सब जात के देवी देवता यहाँ विराजमान है, चाहे हिंदू हो चाहे मुसलमान। अयोध्या से लोगों को सीख लेना चाहिए। अयोध्या में गंगा जमुनी एक तहजीब है। अयोध्या में कभी हिंदू और मुसलमानों के देवी देवता कभी लड़े नहीं, कहीं कोई जिक्र नहीं है। तो हम लोगों को एक संदेश देते हैं कि अयोध्या ऐसी नगरी जहां पूरी अयोध्या में देवी देवता ही हिंदू मुसलमानों के विराजमान है, कभी कोई लड़ाई नहीं है। तो लोग अपने घरों में, अपने मोहल्लों में, अपने प्रदेश में हिंदू मुस्लिम ना करें, देश की एकता का विचार जो है बात करें और भाईचारे की बात करें। जो भी अच्छा काम करेगा वही यहाँ देश में राज।
आपको लगता है कि अयोध्या मंदिर के बनाने में, और अब ये भी अनाउंसमेंट हो गया है कि एक भव्य मॉस्क भी अयोध्या में बनेगा, क्या ये जो अटेम्प्ट किया जा रहा है इसको पूरे भारत देश में एक एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे देखा जाएगा, जो कि इंस्पायर करेगा लोगों को, पॉलिटिशियंस को, कम्युनिटीज़ को, कि ये जो रिलीजन के बेस पर डिवाइड हो रहा है, जो हम लोग हमारे कम्युनिटीज़ बना देते हैं, चाहे वो मुस्लिम हो, हिंदू हो, सिख हो, ईसाई हो, इसके ऊपर डिवाइसिव पॉलिटिक्स नहीं खेली जाएगी?
देखिए, भारत में तो एकजुट है। हिंदू और मुसलमानों में भाईचारा है, कहीं कोई अलगाववाद नहीं है, एक ही नारा है। अयोध्या में हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई सब हैं भाई भाई, सबके साथ एक जो है ये एक देश है, एक कानून है और यहाँ भाईचारा है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी जी, एक ही कानून चल रहा है, एक ही नारा है, सबका साथ है, सबका विकास है, सबके लिए रोजगार है।
इकबाल अंसारी जी, हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। I'm going to carry forward this conversation. There's a very deep message that has come out from this historic visit that was made by the former Muslim litigant in the Babri Masjid dispute case, the fact that with such gratitude he came forward and accepted the invitation of the Ram Mandir Trust. He attended the consecration ceremony. In contrast to the narrative that gets peddled by the political parties, and it has continued even today as the election season commences, that they are pushing forward this thought process into the minds and psyche of the people, the voters, the citizens of our country, that it is the BJP who's playing communal politics by building the Ram temple, and therefore they have refused to take part in the consecration ceremony. And here's an example in front of the people's eyes, in front of these politicians, that this man, his family, 2 generations had been fighting this case against the Ram Mandir Temple Trust petitioners. And he has graciously accepted the Supreme Court verdict. He has graciously accepted and acknowledged the fact that after the verdict, there can be no reason, there can be no space for communalization between Hindus and Muslims. There can be no space for divisiveness between Hindus and Muslims. Therefore, this grand gesture that was made by him has also been appreciated and spoken at length by the Prime Minister. Major Muhammad Ali Shah, how do you view the situation? Is our politicians far away from the reality that India and its people encompass and demonstrate?
Right, Megha. Firstly, we should see the very fact that we are one nation and we are one. We are all Indians. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, आपस में सब भाई भाई. मजहब नहीं सिखाता आपस में बैर रखना. So the very fact that I appreciate what Iqbal Ansari did. See, his family has been fighting litigation against Hindus for a very, very long time. And when the Supreme Court verdict came, he gracefully and graciously accepted it, not just accepted it, he was there in the celebrations. In fact, we were there celebrating in Gurgaon with our neighborhood. People, there have been many Muslims who have accepted it, who have said, yes, they are law-abiding citizens. So what does one do? One sulks, one sits. I have tried to explain to a lot of people, listen, you might be fighting it then. But once the law has given its verdict, the Supreme Court has given its verdict, you have no other option but to accept it gracefully, graciously, and celebrate it. And you have to respect and appreciate the sentiments of the nation. Anything that divides us, anything, be it any one, and especially without naming any party, politicians who give hate speeches, be it from any party, politicians who divide, politicians who promote polarization, politicians who scare people to garner votes, they should be condemned. In fact, we should always promote the very fact is, I have my best friends who are non-Muslims. I celebrate festivals with them. They are the first ones to celebrate, to congratulate me on Eid. They send greetings. In fact, when I was in the army, I was always greeted as Ram Ram Saab, Eid Mubarak. That's how I was greeted as. In Devlali, that's the regiment I come from, the regiment of artillery, in a center, we have a square where there is mandir, there is masjid, there is gurdwara, and there is a church on one square. It is coexisting together. There has never been any problem. Why? Because army say politics, we do not let politics interfere. So there are people who will try to cause a rift, cause a divide. And tali kabhi ek haath se bajti nahi hai, Megha. It's always you clap with both hands. So any party, anyone who tries to scare or tries to divide in any which way should not be encouraged. In fact, we have to see, as a Muslim, if I respect the other religion, only then can I expect respect back to my religion. If I do not respect the other religion or any other religion and say my religion is the best, rubbish. Every religion is the best. every religion talks the same thing. They all talk about peace, love, harmony. It's misinterpretation with some people for their own petty gains. They try to promote or push a wrong agenda. And I'm very sorry to say, some very intelligent people also, they fall prey to it. Sometimes it gets that convincing. So anything that unites us, that keeps us together, we all should live in cultural harmony with peace, love. We all have to coexist together. And no one can say this land is of only Muslims or only Hindus or only Sikhs or only Christians or only. No, it's we all together. We all have to live as one, as Indians. And nationality, the very fact that we are Indians should come before any religion.
Okay. Sumit, quickly, the same question. Are our politicians far away from the ground reality of how the citizens of our country think, feel, and emote?
Megha ji, thanks for having me on your show. In fact, after the Bhawan Shri Ram Mandir verdict, everything what people had thought, prayed, and had hallucinated that the world will be burning, India will be burning, ek patta bhi nahi hila. I agree to what Ansari ji said right now. Everybody accepted the decision with all the grace, with all the humility, and all the goodwill. So now, when the Honorable Prime Minister is praising Mr. Ansari, he said that, when he was called for Shilanyas, he went there. When he was called from Bhumi Punjan, he went there. When he was called for Pran Pratishtha, he went there. I remember when Honorable Prime Minister was in Ayodhya, he was showering flowers on him. Though his family legally fought it within the court. But when the courts have decided, after that, for Mr. Ansari, who was the spearheading it, thought enough is enough. Now I have to go with what the court's verdict and let me become a part of that, celebration. That talks of a lot, that what the people from but the Congress and all are not willing to understand. What did they say? They said, "Ye Bhajpa ka utsav hai." For Mr. Ansari, it's a Desh ka utsav, but for Rahul Gandhi, it's a Bhajpa ka utsav. I will not go there because it's a Bhajpa ceremony. And even after 4 months have gone by, Megha ji, how many Congress leaders have gone there? Nobody. Did a Samajwadi leaders turn up there? No. How many leaders from the opposition India Alliance turned there? No. Now, it cannot be a perpetually Bhajpa ka utsav for last 4 months. On the Ram Navami, did it? No. When Mr. Ansari, who's a Muslim and who was fighting in the case, but after one day he said, no, all is over, let me go with it. This is the reality of the life, let me go with it. And we are proud of Mr. Ansari. Honorable Prime Minister is mentioning him. But now, for Mr. Rahul Gandhi and others, what is their problem still? And we have seen instances where they have checked out leaders who wanted to go to Ayodhya. There are people from Rajasthan, there were people from all over India who had checked out the party. Bola sahab, Ayodhya jana, bola nahi, you have to leave the party. No, this is divisive politics. This is what the politics is. If you go to Ayodhya, I've been there after the Pran Pratishtha, I'll tell you something. There's a lot of Muslim population there. There are a lot of those, e-rickshawalas are Muslim. I spoke to one of them. Bhai, kitna kamate the? He said, sir, before 23rd January, we're making around 500 rupees a day. After 23rd January, we're making around 2000 rupees a day. So मैंने बोला 3 गुना income बढ़ी. बोला हाँ साहब 3 गुना income बढ़ी है. हम तो साहब बहुत खुश हैं. If you go to look at the road going to the Hanuman Gadi, if you look at the markets on the right and left, if you look at the whole Ayodhya, Lata Mangeshkar Chowk, if you look at the Ghats, if you look at the Ram Ghat, if you look at the Saryo Ghats, are have been revamped. You see the quantum of investment that is coming into Ayodhya, the quantum of business that is coming into Ayodhya. This is something what Congress cannot fathom. They wanted Ayodhya to be burning. They wanted a Hindu-Muslim right. They wanted people to be dying so that they could go and do their Rajniti and say, bhai, ye bhora hua, wo hua. They wanted to see rights across India. And what my Honorable Prime Minister rightly said, how does Rahul Gandhi know after the Lok Sabha elections are declared, there will be fire all over the country? Aag lag jayegi har jagah. It's the same Rahul Gandhi who said around few months back, ki har jagah kerosene chhidka pada, bas matches ki teli ki zarurat hai. What is your intention, Mr. Gandhi? You want the country to burn? You want the Hindus to kill each other? You want us to burn our churches or mosques or temples or vice versa? What do you want? But we as a country are not interested in this. We don't want this. We want it to go. We want the development to happen. We want sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka prayas. And Mr. Ansari sets a good example how the country should coexist, how the peaceful community should live together. Now, all these people who have this notion, no, Hindus and Muslims cannot live together, there are deep divides, it is a very divided house. That is the notion what Mr. Gandhi tries to make in Oxford, by what was the Jesus College, he was addressing 15 students in a cafeteria. So that is what he was trying to create those notions there. But when you look at a person like Mr. Ansari, you say it's not happening. When you go to Ayodhya, you say it's not an iota of that. When you go to a taxi driver, do I ask him the religion? When I go to a pilot, do I know who is the pilot? Do I know who is my train driver? Do I know who is my taxi driver? Do I know who is serving me the food? I don't know. I don't know who is the cook. I don't know who is the supplier. I don't know who supplied tail, atta, ghee. And even the prasad is sold by a lot of Muslims in a lot of pilgrimages in India.
Yeah.
And even if you look at Yogi Adityanath's Gorakhpur, 80% of the business around the Gorakhnath Math is controlled by Muslims. Even the part of kitchen is controlled by them.
Fair
No
enough.
problem
You,
there.
yeah, you made your point. Major Ali Shah, so again the question, when the litigant did not, when the litigant and his family and his generations who have been fighting this case did not have a problem, why do you think the politicians have it? Why do you think that this issue is being raked up again and again in the political speeches and the road rallies and the road shows and the public addresses that are being made ahead of the elections that are taking place in our country?
Mega, it's very simple and very, very clear. The Muslims don't have a problem with it. Many Muslims have accepted it. Many Muslims, in fact, almost all, I would rather say, 99.9%, I don't know, 0.1%, I don't know who it is, that I don't know. I've only heard it, that probably they haven't accepted it. The former Vice Chancellor of the Aligarh Muslim University, the Vice Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University is considered to be the head of the Muslim community, at least among the intelligentsia. The former Vice Chancellor, Lieutenant General Samiruddin Shah, he gave an interview and he mentioned that he totally accepted. With grace, there's no problem at all. So the very fact is now we have to see, polarize the environment, who is trying to scare. Because fear works, right? So fear is like a big vote for votes. If you scare people, if I scare you, Mega, you do this, if you don't vote for me, this is going to happen to you. Even if you don't support me, but you will get scared. And you will automatically vote for me. Why? Not because you like me, or you think my leadership is great, but because you are scared of the other party. You don't want the other party because you feel other party, if it comes into power, then God help you. God help you. So quickly, you'll get scared. You'll vote for me. So basically, you have to understand the fact that people who try to play politics, petty politics over such things, Muslims don't have a problem with it. Muslims don't have a problem with it. And I am saying it with conviction on this. So I don't know. I mean, yes, Megha.
Okay. So, Major Ali Shah, the fact that, there has been a grand overture that has also been made, because there is going to be, in the months and years to come, an equally grand mosque that is also going to be built in Ayodhya. And if the economy of Ayodhya has quadrupled in the last 4 months, it is only going to increase more times once a mosque is also located over there, because there is going to be, congregations of tourists who will be visiting Ayodhya, who will be visiting the mosque. Isn't it all good for the economy? So why such dissidence on the matter?
Okay. Mega, unfortunately about the large mosque coming up in Ayodhya, many people aren't aware of it. It's a sad reality. People are not aware that there's a large mosque coming up in Ayodhya. There's also a large mosque coming up in Ayodhya, and we should be aware of it. We should talk about that. We should talk about positive things. We should talk about good things that are happening. Because only then will we attract positive energy. But if we talk negative stuff and we remain in that, we will attract negativity then. There is a positive mosque, there's a positive news, and there's a big, large mosque, which we all should be aware of. And most certainly when that comes up, it's already and the work is in progress. When it comes up, it's going to attract a lot of economy. A lot of people are going to rush there. As Sumit said that, a rickshawala was saying, be it a Hindu or be it a Muslim, anything. A rickshawala was earning, say, this much amount, X amount. Of course, he's earning multiple more than that. So the very fact is, it's a very simple grassroots example, because these are people who work on ground. And it shows that if they are earning more, it only helps the economy grow as well.
Right.
So most certainly, we should come together. And the people who are building the mosque, as if they're going to be only Muslims who will be building the mosque, it's going to be together, it will be a joint effort. As I mentioned earlier, as a Muslim, if I respect other religions will respect my religion.
Right.
That's been my observation all throughout. I've always felt respected as a Muslim. I've never felt outcast ever.
Yeah.
Ever, Megha.
Absolutely. So this Hindu-Muslim divide that has been artificially created, inseminated into the psyche of the people, has been purely by our politicians. That they are the ones who actually gain out of it, because it's the vote bank that they're after. They spread rumors and create this fear psychosis amongst our communities in a bid to divide them. The same process, the same ideology was utilized by the British. It continues to be carried forward. Now the faces have changed. It was the British, this time around it is the politicians. We all need to move forward. We all need to be able to see through these politicians and their vested interests and agendas in a bid to ensure that our communities, our country, our countrymen, and everybody lives in harmony together as we have been for centuries together. On that note, I slip into a short break. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast, and thanks for watching.